I wanted to bring some flavour into the kitchen. I'm thinking a lovely sauce that you can use with maybe fish, in particular with chicken, in particular with pork, you know, just to have one of those go-to sauces, your own kind of home style. So it's a cider sauce with creme fraiche, and the first thing I need to do is cook off some shallots. So we get a bit of heat on here and a little drop of oil. And I'm going to put a little bit of butter in as well and give that a stir and just let it melt. Watch the heat. Now shallots go in, get your shallots in, let them cook away. So chop your shallots fairly small, coat them in a nice bit of butter. There we go. Let it cook away. So I'm going to get the heat on first. I want to really bring that level of heat up. Watch for the little bit of steam coming out and then turn it down low and let them slow cook. It is vital that these shallots are fully cooked before I do anything else with this recipe. Now quite often I would actually make this sauce after maybe I've pan fried a pork chop. So when I lift out the pork chop, to be honest, I would normally deglaze the pan with a little water or a little chicken stock first of all, and that way then I've got that extra bit of flavour, and then I would whip that out and then start with my shallots. And you can dress this up as you want. I often add in mushrooms because this is going to work really well together. Even a bit of garlic would be very nice in here. Now I can see my shallots beginning to colour, so I'm going to get that down a little bit and leave that just to slow cook. And because I chopped the shallots quite small, they're going to cook a lot faster, which is really important. Because these are going to sweeten this sauce. It's going to be so, so nice. And so we've got the sweetness of this sauce, and then to counteract the sweetness of the onions, the sweetness of the cider, creme fraiche will work beautifully with it because it'll just balance out, you know, the sharpness and the sweetness. Very, very nice. And I've got a bit of heat coming in with some mustard and some aromatics with some rosemary. And I can actually pop that rosemary in now because this will cook away with the onions. Thyme would work really nicely here, oregano. Basically go through your dried herbs if you don't have fresh herbs and use them up. A lot of people would have oregano at home in a jar for homemade pizzas and the likes, and for your tomato sauces. And as dried herbs go, oregano is actually quite a good one. There we go. I'm liking this. Now let me just twist this pan a little bit for you. These onions have lost their white and they are now gone that little bit more translucent, a little yellow. That's telling me they're lovely and sweet. So I'm happy with that. So now I can get my heat up and get my cider in. Now with the cider, I don't want this sauce absolutely, totally tasting of cider. I want the alcohol to burn off and I want the cider to bring a level of flavour to the sauce. But I don't want the sauce to be 100% cider. So we'll just leave this now to just reduce a little bit, let the alcohol cook off a little bit. It's a really quick, to be honest, it's kind of almost like a cheap sauce. It's really, really handy to make. Now, I need a teaspoon and I'm going to pop in my mustard. So just Dijon mustard, nothing too spicy or hot. In that goes. Now, I'd like a little bit of stock in here. Another little bit. So this is just chicken stock, by the way. You can use vegetable stock either. Okay, now, next, bit of salt. This is some lovely sea salt. I actually got it from Sicily. It's from Trapani in Sicily, which is famous for its salt beds. Well worth a visit when we can get out again. Now, let me turn my heat down a little bit. I'm really express cooking this for the purposes of showing you today. But if I was doing this at home, to be fair, I would be standing back and letting this simmer just nice and slowly and letting the magic happen. So, I want to check how this is doing. It's reduced nicely. And I'm going to grab another little spoon and I want to check the flavour to make sure that I'm happy with that. Oh, that's actually gorgeous. The level of sweetness, bit of saltiness in there, and then just that kick from the mustard, and you can definitely get that rosemary. So let me get the heat back up a tiny bit. And now finally, we're just going to pop in, this is how quick this sauce is, our creme fraiche. So with the creme fraiche, you don't need to bring it back to the boil or anything, you just need to let the creme fraiche melt into this sauce. And if you didn't have creme fraiche, you could of course use sour cream as an alternative, or for extra creaminess, a little bit of mascarpone or something like that. But I like the flavour of the creme fraiche in this sauce. It's surprisingly light as the sauce goes. Now, if you didn't like And I don't know if you can see from where you are, but you can see the shallots in the sauce. If that's not your thing at all, just put the whole thing in the blender and blend it for a really nice smooth sauce. So you've got a few options with this. And I should say, if you don't have cider at home, apple juice, unsweetened apple juice works really well in this recipe too. That is it, ready to go. And I have this dinky little pouring jug that I would have had from my grandmother's time. You don't see them so much anymore. Little sauce boat, and I'm going to pour it in here. You see? There we go. And in she goes. Lovely. And I'm going to bring that over to the camera and you can get a nice look at it. And that is my cider cream sauce. Enjoy it.